The reviews are in, or at least many of them, for the Snyder Cut, or perhaps more accurately, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Today is Tuesday, and on Rotten Tomatoes, with 108 reviews, it has a 76% rating. So that would make it fresh. Not certified fresh, but fresh enough. Certainly a lot better than the Rotten Tomatoes scores Zack Snyder's DC movies have often gotten. And a lot of DC movies in the past have gotten. DC movies have turned a bit of a corner when it comes to the way critics have treated them, mostly. But this is a very interesting bookend to, I guess, the Snyderverse, right? I mean, we remember how the critics thought of, the Snyderverse movies in the beginning, with BVS and Suicide Squad. And now, with this final, and Justice League, but now with this final, this final episode in like the first, I guess, chapter era, maybe the final chapter if the Snyderverse doesn't continue, of the Snyderverse, Zack Snyder's DCEU, it seems like critics are finally maybe coming around. Now I know this is a weird video for me to make, and other YouTubers are making videos like this too about, the Snyder Cut and Rotten Tomatoes and the reviews, because a lot of us, what we've said in the past, back in the old days when DC movies always got torn apart by the critics and got low Rotten Tomatoes scores, is Rotten Tomatoes doesn't matter. Who cares? These critics, they're not the fans. We don't care about their opinions. We care about our opinions, right? So now, when the Snyder Cut is getting good reviews, positive reviews, now people are like, oh, this is awesome. Like Rotten Tomatoes actually counts. When it's saying something good about a movie you like. So it is somewhat hypocritical. But I did think it was worth making a video about and talking about, because people have noticed that. They have noticed that Rotten Tomatoes does seem to be being a lot kinder to the Snyder Cut than they have to Zack Snyder's other DC movies and many of other DC movies in the past. So I'm not sure what this means. I have not seen the Snyder Cut yet. I mean, I don't know that it's not a great movie, but it is weird how all of a sudden all these people are like, down with Zack Snyder's, or this movie, or thinking that it's favorable when they didn't before. I mean, because Zack Snyder, I'm sure, is the same kind of filmmaker he was when he made BVS and Man of Steel. And Suicide Squad is a part of the Snyderverse, right? I mean, none of that's changed. So why now, all of a sudden? Very interesting. Maybe, Zack Snyder was able to deliver something different with the Snyder Cut than he was ever able to deliver before in terms of, making critics happy. But, they haven't liked a lot of his other movies either. I don't think they liked Sucker Punch or Watchmen that much either. I mean, yeah, they liked 300 and Dawn of the Dead, but ever since those two movies, Zack Snyder has had kind of a rocky relationship with a lot of critics. But it's a larger discussion. Going back to what I was saying a bit earlier in this video, Rotten Tomatoes may have lost its kind of importance in people's minds. A lot of people don't really it still has value, but a lot of people don't really go to Rotten Tomatoes the way they used to, or trust it, or have much faith in it. But I think it may be because of, the pandemic we're in right now, right? I mean, a lot of movies aren't coming out in theaters, so a lot of people aren't really thinking about a review site like Rotten Tomatoes. I think Rotten Tomatoes was only mostly important when theaters were open, right? Because a lot of people look to that as a barometer of what they should drive to the theater and spend their money on. Since a lot of people aren't driving to theaters nowadays, they aren't really thinking about or caring about Rotten Tomatoes that much. So we'll see if Rotten Tomatoes' importance or relevance increases again, if anything ever gets back to normal when it comes to all the theaters being open and people being comfortable to go to them in large enough numbers, like they did in the old days, about a year ago. But as of now, it does seem like the Snyder Cut is doing really well with reviews. We'll see, what happens to the score as more reviews come in. 108 isn't, that's not even half. Usually a big movie gets about 300 or 400 reviews. So, we're only, we're just, we're just a little bit of turning the corner. We don't know the full picture yet. Once everybody starts to see it, when it's released on Thursday, then we're going to get a lot better picture. And then we'll know more about how the general public, the audience feels, right? The audience score, and just word of mouth. You and your friends. What are you going to think of the Snyder Cut? Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel, because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.